Good morning. We are live for the deep dive with Keeping Current Matters. It is Monday, October 7th, and we are thrilled to be here with you today, talking about the most important topics in the housing market. Always love starting our weeks off with our KCM members who continue to come back week after week. And of course, if you're new to the deep dive this week, thank you so much for being here. We got a lot of great information to share with you. We're going to be talking about the sweet spot for buyers this fall. And I really can't wait to dive into this one because there's so much important information that we want to be sharing with our clients right now. Really, really good stuff. We've got visuals for you, professional visuals to truly help you explain what's happening in the market. We do these deep dives every week to make sure that you have the tools, the resources, and like we said, the professional visuals that you need to be the expert in your market. So we're going to be talking about the sweet spot for buyers this fall. And quick reminder on why we start our Mondays out like this, because most agents know what's happening in the market. Good agents understand what's happening, but it's only great agents that can explain what's happening. And that's what we want to be able to help you walk away with today, with all of the data and the insights that you need to be able to explain why it's a sweet spot for buyers this fall. There's a lot of buyers out there that are waiting for next spring, that are looking at the market and thinking, you know what, I think we're going to have better conditions in the beginning of 2025. But your job right now is to help them understand the opportunity they have now and some of the downsides of waiting as well. We never want to pressure anyone into buying a home. That is not our job. But our job is to make sure that you have the facts, the data. You're the expert who can explain what's happening so your buyers, your sellers can make the most informed decisions. And when you do that and you operate your business with your buyers and sellers' interests at hand, that's where success happens, both for your clients and for your business. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, the sweet spot for buyers, so you can explain exactly what's happening right now. So we're going to dive in, and I want to start with a little bit of consumer perspective. What are consumers thinking right now about the housing market? Well, Fannie Mae does this survey every month, and they ask consumers, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? And what you can see in this latest release, this is August 2024 data, is that consumers think only about 17% of consumers think it's really a good time to buy. And that number has been kind of holding steady in that 15 to 20% range or so for quite some time, for almost 2 years now. So, buyers are thinking, you know what, something better is on the horizon. And I think if we look at this quote from Mike Simonson at Altos Research, it says, even as mortgage rates have fallen in the second half of the year, there is still very little sign of the sales rate improving yet. It doesn't appear that home buyers are particularly motivated by payments that are 14% cheaper now than they were in May. So we're seeing affordability improve. We're seeing better conditions for buyers, but people are still thinking, I'm going to hold out. I'm going to wait. I think something better is on the horizon. So why is that? We'll take a look at this right here. This is that same survey from Fannie Mae asking for consumer perspective. And the percent of respondents who say mortgage rates will go down in the next 12 months is actually climbing quite significantly. So 39% of consumers think mortgage rates are going to go down next year. So that's why I'm going to wait. So we have all of these thoughts and perspectives coming into the market, impacting people's decisions, and they need your expertise to help them navigate through what's happening right now and how do they make the best decision. Should they buy now? Should they wait? That's a very personal decision based on people's different perspectives, their experience, whether or not they're ready to buy. But here's the thing. If you have buyers who are sitting on the sidelines saying, hey, I'm just going to wait for mortgage rates to come down a little bit more, here's what I want you to think about. So the question you want to be asking them is, what do you think everyone else is going to do? And the answer is really simple. A lot of people are sitting in the same boat and they're waiting. So more buyers are going to trickle into the market as we start to see mortgage rates come down more, as we head into the beginning of the year, and we see that kind of spring buying season sort of tick up. All of those factors coming together are going to make it a much more competitive environment, a much more competitive market. So what I want to do today is show you why that's the case. I think if we look at this quote from Greg McBride at Bankrate, it says, it's one of those things where you should be careful what you wish for. A further drop in mortgage rates could bring a surge of demand that makes it tougher to actually buy a house. As more buyers trickle in, as more people jump into the market, that just revs up the competition. And as Hannah Jones from realtor.com says, if lower mortgage rates spark more buyer demand than inventory can keep up with, then prices may climb once again, eliminating the impact of lower rates. So a lot of people are waiting for rates to come down. They think that will help affordability improve, which is true, but we've got to weigh what happens with the rest of the market as mortgage rates come down. We have low inventory already, and yes, it's climbing. There are more homes to choose from, but it's still lower than a typical market. When you have more demand than you have inventory available, that ticks prices up, and that could offset some of the savings that people are waiting for. So it's tough. A lot of people want to time the market. They want to do this absolutely perfectly. But the best way to do that is to be informed by you, their trusted agent, so they can make the best possible decisions with all the facts. So we're going to break down why this fall is the sweet spot for buyers. We've talked already about number one, the competition is waiting for the market to improve. A lot of people are talking about that right now. A lot of people are saying, hey, next year is going to be my year. I'm not ready right now. I see something better on the horizon. But 2 and 3, I want to walk through these with you today because affordability has already started to get better. We're going to look at that today. And inventory is up compared to the past few years. So there are more homes to choose from. So if affordability and being able to find a home are two of the biggest pain points that your buyers have felt recently, and that's why they've held off, maybe it's time to start reinvigorating those conversations about how these two things are starting to improve. So let's take a look. So one of the biggest reasons why affordability has improved is because the average mortgage rate has come down from its recent peak. This is October of last year, mortgage rates on the 30-year fixed from Freddie Mac compared to October of this year. So what we can see is that mortgage rates have come down significantly from their peak when they were nearly 8%. And there's a big difference in the monthly payment when mortgage rates come down. I'll show you that math in a moment that our team has put together. And so there's a big savings on a monthly mortgage payment when rates come down like this. Now, if you've been following along over the past couple of days, you saw that mortgage rates ticked up a little bit on Friday. Now, why is that? We've been talking a lot about how mortgage rates coming off their peak, mortgage rates easing down over the next 6, 12, 18 months is not going to be a straight line. There's going to be volatility. It's going to essentially be a bumpy road, just like you can see right here. They don't just come down in that straight line. And what happened on Friday is what the jobs report was released, and it was better than expected. And so, the markets responded and mortgage rates ticked up a little bit. And we've said all along, mortgage rates easing is going to be dependent on how the economic data plays out. Inflation, employment, all of those different things that the markets are looking at. And so we saw a better than expected jobs report on Friday that made mortgage rates tick up a little bit. But as more of the economic data unfolds, the larger trajectory is that mortgage rates should continue to come down. And you can see how they've come down off their peak from last October. And so what we have to remind our clients is this, that Housing Wire says, each dip in mortgage rates improves affordability as payments on a home purchase decline. Mortgage rate payments on the typical price home are 7% lower than last year and are 13% lower than the peak in May of 2024. So we're seeing this overall big picture improving affordability. And if that's been a challenge for your clients, one of the best things you can do right now is show them how the math shakes out. So let's take a look at that together. This is a chart that our team put together, and it says the monthly payment savings compared to October of last year. So if you look over on the left side, you can see that in October of last year, when mortgage rates were up at their absolute peak, Mortgage News Daily had 8.03% on October 19th of last year. On a $400,000 loan, the monthly payment for principal and interest was about $2,900, almost $3,000 a month. Now, fast forward to where we are right now, even with where mortgage rates ticked up to about 6.5 last Friday, that same loan amount, $400,000, there's a savings, a monthly savings of over $400 a month. So if someone paused their plans last fall because they were like, this is just too much, I need to wait, the math is starting to shake out as a savings 1 year later. And being able to do this with your clients, share with them where we were a year ago, where we are now. Let's start talking about what number makes sense for you and what you are looking for. Then they can be ready and informed when they're ready to buy. And right now we can see that that number has gone down by about $400 per month since October of last year. So affordability is improving. If that's been something that's been keeping your clients on the sidelines, really important to be able to have these conversations right now. Now, the other thing we know is that inventory has improved as well. So there are more homes to choose from on the market. So let's take a look at what Ralph McLaughlin at realtor.com says. The number of homes actively for sale continues to be elevated compared with last year, growing by 34%, an 11th straight month of growth, and now sits at the highest level since April of 2020. So this is what people have been waiting for, right? Like having a home, being able to find a home. And that's been a challenge for a lot of people over the past couple of years. Inventory has been historically low. So what I want to break down for you next is, what does inventory look like on a national level? We know this varies by local market, but on a national level, what do active and new listings look like right now? How is inventory increasing? So if you followed along with us before, you've seen this graph. This is the number of homes per sale continues to climb. These are active monthly listings over the past year. Sorry, going all the way back to 2017. So what you can see in that white line in the middle, that's 2024. You can see that active listings started out low at the beginning of the year, but they started to climb at a rate a little bit faster than normal. So look at those orange and yellow and green lines down at the bottom, more inventory compared to the last few years. So we're seeing that uptick. Certainly not as much as we saw in those more normal years. You can see those lines at the top in blue and gray. Inventory hasn't really hit that peak yet, but it's certainly climbing at a faster rate. So more homes on the market. And a lot of people are saying, hey, this is because homes are staying longer on the market. They haven't sold as quickly. We've seen mortgage rates tick up over the past year, and that's made inventory grow. And while that is true, I want to show you something really, really interesting that our team pulled for this deep dive about new listings in September. This data just came out last week. And what you can see on new listing counts right here, look at that same white line. That's this year. And what we see in September, from August to September, is that new listings ticked up over the past month. Now, that doesn't normally happen at this time of year. Look at all those other lines coming down in September. But in September of 2024, we saw more new listings coming onto the market. So what does that mean? It means homeowners who maybe have felt rate locked are thinking, okay, maybe I'm ready. Maybe as I see mortgage rates start to ease, this is my time to list my house, make a move. We were seeing more inventory from August to September. So that's a big change. Now, 1 month does not make a trend. So it's something we're certainly going to watch. But if you have buyers sitting on the sideline waiting for both rates to come down and more homes to be available, this fall might be the sweet spot to hit both of those. Because what do we know? As rates come down and we still have low inventory, as people jump in next spring, that's going to put upward pressure on prices. So being able to get ahead of that competition, ahead of the other buyers who might be waiting, could be the differentiator for your clients. As Business Insider says, waiting until next spring or summer should also give you more inventory to choose from. That is likely true. but you'll likely be up against greater competition since it's the peak buying season. So a lot of people are trying to time the market to come back in the spring. And if you have buyers that you want to help get ahead of that, now's the time to help them make that move, help them understand exactly what's happening. Because as Danielle Hale says, I expect we'll see this mortgage rate drop start to bring buyers in the spring market. We'll see somewhat of a busier fall than usual, but I think a lot of home shoppers are going to use this information to plan for the spring season. So spring of 2025 is going to be even bigger. That's the bottom line. If you have clients who want to get ahead of that competition, ahead of other buyers. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see a whole flood of buyers coming into the market in the spring, but we're certainly going to see more activity. If you've been following along with us with our forecasting, we expect more transactions in 2025. We expect more activity. So if you have buyers who are ready, willing, and able right now, showing them the data, helping them understand the upside and the downsides of either buying now or waiting, super, super important. And you can be the expert to help them do that, to help them make the best possible decision. So as we wrap up, make sure you're communicating this. Make sure that you're talking with your clients, helping them understand what's happening right now. Be that expert they can count on. And we always have great resources for you to be able to do that. So professional content to be the market expert. If you want to record a video on this, super easy to do with Real Talk. KCM members, you have access in your membership to lots of different resources, social graphics to start the conversation, blogs to share as the expert, video scripts to record, you name it, it's there for you. And if you're not a KCM member, head over to trykcm.com so you can have access to all of these and check it out. Now, I want to leave you with one more thought today before we wrap up, because this is kind of cool. If you haven't heard already, we have recently partnered with John Burns Research and Consulting. We're doing some surveys and some research with them, and we want to make sure your voice can be a part of the conversation. So if you're interested in sharing what's happening in your market, scan this QR code, sign up for the survey. You can earn perks and rewards every month by filling out the survey and sharing your voice. And I think the biggest thing that comes out of this is when KCM members join the survey and share your perspective, you're impacting our content. You're sharing with us what you want to hear. And then the data is coming back. As we have the data, then we can create content to help you solve your pain points, whether that's getting buyers off the fence, helping sellers understand the benefits of listing, whatever it may be. The question we're asking this month is about what rate would get your sellers off the fence and ready to move. So all kinds of different things that you can do. Be sure to scan the code, be a part of the survey every month, and your voice will be a part of the KCM content we deliver in the future. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here with you. Keep in mind, next Monday is a holiday, so we will not have a live deep dive, but we will see you back again on October 21st. Have a great day.